Hi there YouTube, Mark Vergeer, back again with another Minecraft video. First of all, I would like to thank BrianJ 1962 and Michelle Knight for their wonderful tutorials on and demonstrations of their Optifine shader setups, because hopefully I'll be able to do something similar. I think the graphics card that I use on this system to capture the video might be the bottleneck. It's 950 GTX, so I may actually have to swap that out. The thing is, I do have a 1060 graphics card and even a 1070 graphics card, but the thermals on these cards are just so high they don't actually work on this system. It runs too hot. There's no way I could improve the ventilation. It's just a Dell Optiplex red little thing, a red little desktop. So yeah, I need to find a solution to make it work. But yeah, I've been demonstrating parts of the of our world, and I thought because we have a dynmap thing loaded, I would show you how extensive the world actually is and have a bit of a demonstration. So let's get rid of that video feed like that. It still works, yes. So this is actually a dynmap. This actually is the spawn area, and I can actually zoom in. Last time you saw me walking around this area with a maze and with a demonstration of our house. Our house is actually over here. This is actually the region of our house, and this is the spawn area. Now, if I zoom out, you'll probably be able to see what the scale of it all is. So this is the spawn area, and our world, we did put a limit on the world because, well, it just grew to immense sizes. So there's a red ring around it. But this will actually give you a sense of the scale. So that is spawn. And there's just a ton of explored and some unexplored areas. What's actually quite interesting is that some of the biomes are pretty large. There's huge polar regions, huge deserts and grasslands and forests. And what is quite interesting is that back in the day, I think Elise or Erwin, I'm not sure, one of us actually did a huge walkabout. And as you can see, the terrain generation from that on that world was actually quite different from later on. There were a huge number. We started this world in the alpha stage, and it was just upgraded with each successive Minecraft iteration. The thing is that the seed in later incarnations actually has a ton of water. So you actually see that the old walkabouts actually contain more land, and now the newer parts of the world, it's actually it's actually quite a water world, with newer parts of the world actually again being less of a water world, but at some point it was a huge water world with a lot of yeah, blue water areas. Now the dynmap also, let me see, you can actually have a 3D render of the thing. So let's zoom back to spawn. You might actually recognize this actually is my home, and this is Mount Rushmore with the in the middle with the little avatars. There's the spawn point with the Doom area and the cat that Dave Webster did, the huge cactus, the apple sign, retro hill. Basically what we saw last night is actually this bit. I walked around this over here. I walked around this wall over here, and I walked this bridge. I ended up in this town, a marketplace, walked around this area, came by a huge crevasse, crossed a bridge, crossed another bridge, and I'm not sure if it all renders like this, but yeah, it's just a huge, I'm not sure I walked this all, but this is just a huge part of the world. I think I should show you bits of it. One of these big, huge temples. We just did a ton of stuff on this world. This is my my big walled garden. Some emoticon that I did. This is 8-bit Valley with a lot of these. Oh, this is actually the giraffe clock. Elise did that. And this is Cow Cafe. Elise actually made a whale in a big basin. Some game art by Mark. Very nice Rainbow Valley. Some houses. Let's zoom back. Olympic rings, just 4, not 5. This is a very nice pyramid that Andy made. This actually used to be Juho's home, but he set fire to it, so all the I think he set fire to it, so all the wood was gone. But it was an excellent Finnish home, but yeah, it was destroyed. The MSX sign contains Electric Adventures Villa. That huge toilet actually is a creation by Steve Benway. He actually has some sort of subterranean cave, which is about here. The entrance is over here in the center of the screen. Now on top of that flies a UFO, which sits over here. This is actually Steve Benway's UFO. There's another spaceship that Tony created, this huge thing. Yeah, so we did a lot of art, we did a lot of building. This actually is an area that Elise worked on with I think Andy. They did the topside down house. They created a house, but everything is upside down. At some point I was creating a ton of ducks. Yeah, these windmills, I believe Andy created those. These these yellow eggs were actually a creation of Elise. They showed up everywhere, even one that's been punctured by a huge cactus with purple. I'm really off on my colors here. Purple blood dripping out of it. I did a Stonehenge. We might visit it at some later point, just to give you an idea. This is a tree, a functioning tree that actually lives inside a glass case. Oh, this is actually a model of a Sinclair Spectrum, but you only see the back side of it. Let me see what else. Oh, this is also one of the first huge structures that the City of Gold, the Lost City of Gold, that's actually a creation by Elise. She was one of the first to go on a huge trek into the country, and we came from this area. This is where we started, so we were actually tunneling underneath, and we were exploring this bit, but Elise decided to go trek around and explore, and she saw this huge rock face, and she decided to make the Lost City of Gold with a temple inside. It's actually quite interesting. Also, elevated tree houses with walkways in between. It's also something that Elise did. Mine carts, I mean, back in the early days, I mean, the world became huge. We went for mine carts, so there's a lot of mine carts. Oh yeah, Brian, your ship really looks amazing. This is my ship, one of the first creations I did here at the. I saw this huge body of water, and I thought, yeah, let's make a ship. So that's actually one of the first 3D structures that I did after I built my first house. Your ship is much nicer. Let me see what else is here. Oh, there's a greenhouse. That's actually something that Danielle Bienvenue did. And this is actually upside down house. There's hanging gardens. Yeah, this is a creation of Elise. She made platforms of a sandy well, mount with water supply. She actually grew trees in hanging gardens, and she made an obelisk. This basin and windmills is actually something that Andy created. Let me see. There's a Tesco and a McDonald's. This house. This is a villa made by Irwin with a very nice garden. This actually is part of our. It's on in one of the earlier videos. This is actually some sort of resort with hieroglyphs and yeah, all sorts of stuff. This is one of the original temples. I think Andy did this one, and I've actually been inspired by this temple, and I've created my own pagodes. This actually is a very nice ship with a working engine that Irwin did, very close to his Maison Grande. But this actually is an apartment building where each of us actually has, or a lot of us actually have, a floor completely designed to our own tastes. Let me see what else. Oh, I built this castle, which has a house, and one of the first constructed trees. I just wanted to have a huge tree, and below here is actually a dragon in a dungeon that is captured. And I've actually made this. This is also a dragon that basically is a huge dragon that just arches around here. I believe I've also created a bumblebee over here. This is a sub-aquatic gardens. Erwin actually did a huge garden structure with a lot of cows and stuff, and they were all below sea level, so quite an amazing stuff. This actually is the emaciated Moo Cow Cafe. You just saw a cow cafe, and this is actually the cow cafe, but only its bones. A huge pig. One of the first pig farms we had, I believe, yeah, he made a huge Donkey Kong over here. So there's a ton of stuff. Another castle that I built. Walled gardens. I experimented with towers. These were created with scripts. And this is a very nice creation of another friend of ours, a Dutch friend. Someone sitting on a stool. Very nice villa, very nice house. Donkey Kong. Huge walled gardens. Whoops. Okay, where are we? So huge walled gardens with yeah, just a huge body of water. This is actually a villa that Andy did, I believe. There's some stuff that I haven't seen. I don't think I've seen this before. Oh, this is a very nice island, a holiday resort. Oh, this bit is just excellent. This is a tower that Irwin did with a garden on top and just a very nice, I'm not sure if you can see, with black and white tiled floors and stuff. Amazing stuff. We should visit that. Let me see. Huge walkways. Oh, this is actually, I'm not sure if you can recognize it, but this is actually the big shopping mall in Manchester, recreated in Minecraft, the Trafford Centre, and this is the Mineford Centre. There are some videos about it, but I may actually do another video in shader form. I think, yeah, very close by actually is the huge cathedral that Erwin did, and also the huge transport hub. This is actually the transport hub that I showed you with the big T. So this actually gives access to a lot of areas in our world. What else? What else? Yeah, there's huge temples dotted around the landscape. Yeah, the beginnings of a building that never got completed, and just amazing stuff like huge walkways, bridges. This is another sort of golden experiment. This is actually a huge river that all got cultivated, almost like the Amazon River, with a lot of walkways, some houses and a bank and stuff, and it just goes on. There's a lot of things that you can go to, walkways. This is actually Yellow Brick Road, the Wiz. And I think these will look stunning in the shaders. I believe if you follow this, you actually get to go to Birthday Island. Yeah, it's over here, I guess. Yeah, this is Birthday. Whoops, Birthday. This is Andy's Happy Birthday thing. Another house by Yuho. And I believe there's somewhere there's my huge deco trees, but I'm not sure where these are. Let me see. This is, yeah, this is villages that are dotted around. I think if we follow this and we just veer off north somewhere, we may actually end up with the deco tree. But I guess our rendering, the rendering still hasn't kicked in yet. I think if we switch back to the regular mode, yeah, these are the deco trees. Huge trees. I think I should show you Deco Tree Village first, because that really looks great in yeah, you just see these huge structures. These are deco trees, just huge built, man-built trees. Anyways, but this is actually what our world is like, and you see dot around the deco tree and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, you can have a sense of scale. So there's a lot of structures and buildings around. There are still some areas to explore. We've limited our world with the red circles, so it doesn't grow crazy large, but there's still a lot of areas to just explore, and top over here as well. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that still to show on this world. This world is over 7 years old. And let's go back to spawn. Let's move back to spawn. Where is it? Spawn, spawn. Here, spawn. So yeah, you get a bit of an insight of what our world is like, and yeah, it's always nice to show you parts of the creation. And with this dynmap, this 3D rendering. Oh yeah, what's also quite funny is that you can actually see that in between various instances, there's a difference in the water height. Within the bit in between the beta builds and the alpha builds, the world got upgraded, and at some point, the sea level got risen by 1 block or something. So in certain areas, there's this weird, almost like over here it's this weird raised 1 block water level thing. Yeah, which is actually quite weird. Oh yeah, and this is actually this finally. This actually is something that I did right after my dad died. This is part of the obelisk trail, and I built a ton of obelisks. They look similar, but I will hand built them. I just had this these obelisks engraved in my brain, and I just made them like this, and I've dotted them around. This is a house made by Andy, another obelisk, a walkway. I just love making walkways and just, you know, a bridge and another pillar. Yeah, this is a bridge that goes to another part of the world. But yeah, I mean, this world is huge, and I think it's nice to show you some of the vistas if you're interested on what it is all about. And yeah, to me, and I guess to the ones that have been on the server, this really means quite a bit. It feels like a real place. I've said it before, but it feels like a real place. And as you can see, the 3D rendering lets me zoom out. It's still being calculated by the server, so it's slowly rendering in the 3D image. It's actually quite interesting because I think, yeah, there's blocks being calculated, so it's slowly being generated, and it's really quite fun to have a 3D implementation of the map. I really like this dynmap. It's basically a plug-in to the web server that you actually point to the same IP address as the server is on, and you open up port 8123, and it basically is a web server that shows you the map, and you can view the different worlds. We actually have more than one world. The survival world, for example. This is our survival world, which also is quite large. Not sure if it actually is limited. Yeah, it's also limited because otherwise it will just destroy the disk space on the server. But there's actually quite a few things. Let me see if the 3D recreation of this actually works. Oh, there's quite a few things already rendered. It's not too big, I guess. Let me see. So this is the spawn point. Where is it? Whoops. Spawn point. Yes. Oh, this is a huge tower that you have built. And this is his wonderful castle, self-contained castle, and this big body of water, and the cacti actually prevent all sorts of nasties. So, sorry about it, from entering the world. I believe this is actually part of my base, my survival base. Yeah, I made some cobblestone generators. And I built a lot of, yeah, I had some lava, and basically I continue to harvest all the cobblestones. I'm not a miner, so I just created the cobblestones from water and lava, And I just build a ton of stuff with it. And yeah, I built a garden, and this is just a safe place for me to work and live. So this is my survival bit. Of course, I started out very close by Juho's castle. This is also a safe place to just go back to and regenerate. And, yeah, I'm not that keen on digging deep into the deep surface of the earth. So yeah, so this is the Minecraft server. There's the Nether as well. Let me see, world at the end, world Nether. These haven't been generated yet. So yeah, Mark signing off, and I'll be back with another video soon.